Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing a more movie reviews video, which it feels like I haven't done one in at least 50 years. I'm going to be reviewing 5 films. Some of them are new releases, some of them are old classics, so let's get straight into it. So the first one I want to talk about is a horror classic that all the horror fans love, and that is The Exorcist, which came out in 1973. If you didn't already know what The Exorcist was about, it's about this little girl called Reagan who is possessed by essentially the devil, and it takes a priest called Father Karras and another priest who has done an exorcism before to get this evil spirit out of her. And as the film goes on, we see Reagan go from this innocent little girl to this possessed demon child, and going from one stage to the next is extremely well done in The Exorcist. It has a lot of tension build up, which I really liked. I think that the practical effects look incredible for the time that the film was released. I think the music is incredible. Obviously the Exorcist theme song is iconic and just terrifying. Now, as you know, I'm not the biggest fan of horror films. I don't like being scared, but The Exorcist to me wasn't all that scary. I suppose when it was made and when it came out in 1973, it would have terrified people. I can definitely see why it would. But I found myself finding The Exorcist quite comical. I don't know whether that's because of the practical effects or just the way that it's scripted, but a lot of the horror and the jump scares I found quite funny. Is that bad? Trust me, there were a few scenes that absolutely terrified me, like the scene where she's going backwards down the stairs, and the scene where her head turns all the way around, and the scenes where that evil devil face would pop up. Trust me, I was scared of that. I can definitely see why horror fans love The Exorcist. There were just parts of it that I found a bit too comical for my liking, and now I'm worried that no horror movie will scare me ever again. If The Exorcist hasn't scared me, then I don't know what will. All in all, The Exorcist is still a very well-made film, and I'm going to be giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next film I want to talk about is a more recent film that I think is still out in theatres in the UK, and that is Atomic Blonde, starring Charlize Theron. Now, Atomic Blonde follows a British MI6 agent who is sent to Berlin to retrieve a bunch of secret files that include a lot of important information during the Cold War. And as she goes over to Berlin, obviously it's still split into East and West, she has to identify who on her side is a double agent, because information is getting leaked and nobody knows where it is coming from. I was really excited to see Atomic Blonde because I'm a huge fan of John Wick, and I hate comparing films, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. I'm a huge fan of John Wick. John Wick and Atomic Blonde have the same kind of vibe. However, Atomic Blonde is based off a graphic novel called The Coldest City, and I don't think John Wick is based off anything. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Charlize Theron plays the main character, who is a secret agent called Lorraine, and she's just so kick-ass in this movie. Oh my god, I love her. It's just really nice seeing such a badass lady in a leading role like this that kind of parallels to John Wick, and seeing Keanu Reeves kick ass and all that shit, but oh, I've fallen in so much more in love with Charlize Theron after Atomic Blonde. There is a 9-minute one-shot sequence. Obviously it's not actually one shot, but it looks like it's one shot, and it is beautiful. Down that staircase, it was just glorious. All the technical aspects of Atomic Blonde are extremely impressive. The cinematography is gorgeous. You have the snowy background of Germany, the east and west side, the costume design, the music is great, especially the soundtrack. It's got all of these 80s tunes because obviously it's based in the 80s. So everything technical wise is extremely impressive. Everything plot and character wise is less so. The plot is interesting enough. It's a spy thriller action film, and the action is really impressive. The hand-to-hand combat was really cool. As I said, Charlize Theron kicks ass. There were some really interesting plot lines going on and some really nice homages to old cinema, especially to Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker, which I'm still to see, but must see after this film. But I don't think as a whole I could really invest myself in this story from start to end, because there were a lot of untied plot holes and a lot of underdeveloped characters. Lorraine, obviously as the main character, has the most character development. She's seen as this ruthless, emotionless MI6 agent who is just bloodthirsty, but we do see a softer side of her, which I really love, because it shows the versatility of women and badassery. But there were some characters like James McAvoy's character, David, who I wasn't exactly convinced by, and I love Sophia Boutell's character, Delphine. I thought she was a great character. I would have loved to have gone more into her past. And there's just lots of famous faces in this cast, including John Goodman, Toby Jones, and what's his face? I've forgotten what his name is. But yeah, with a cast as talented as this, I thought the film would have used their acting ability to their major advantage, and they just didn't. Atomic Blonde would have been one of my favourite films of this year if it would have fixed some things with the storyline and with the characters and with the pacing as well, because when this film ended, towards the end I just didn't think it was going to stop. It just kept going on and on and on. And in some ways, to me, the ending wasn't exactly satisfying because it wasn't well explained enough. I still enjoyed the action. I still enjoyed Atomic Blonde as a whole. I think the soundtrack is great and I will definitely be listening to it in the near future. I'm going to be giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Next one is an oldie but a goldie, and that is Audrey Hepburn's debut film, Roman Holiday. Now, I've always wanted to watch an Audrey Hepburn film, and this is the first one I've ever seen. Roman Holiday follows a young princess named Princess Anne who's doing a tour of Europe and ends up in Rome, and she basically decides that she has had enough of her royal duties and just wants to act her age and as a normal girl. So one day, once she gets very, very frustrated with all of her scheduling, she decides to sneak out of the palace and live as the Romans do. And she ends up meeting a man named Joe Bradley who actually works for a newspaper, and when he finds out that she is the princess, he actually comes up with a plan that he is going to get a really juicy story about how the princess lives a normal life. Roman Holiday was just super, super charming. The moment that Audrey Hepburn steps on that screen, she is just charm and grace and wit, and she's just wonderful to watch on screen. She has such a great presence. She's naive and impressionable as this young princess, and she really embodies the character of Princess Anne, and honestly, she is just beautiful in this film. The romance that blossoms between Joe Bradley and Princess Anne is just wonderful, and I wish to live that in my life. Falling in love in Rome, seeing all of the sights, the Colosseums and the Trevi Fountain, everything just looks so gorgeous, from the costume design to the locations in the film. It's one of those no-frills old films that just relies heavily on its acting, its directing and its screenwriting, and that's what I loved about it. It was so simple, but it had such a great impression on me. They really do not make romantic comedies like they used to. Roman Holiday is such a classic, and I'll be watching it many, many more times in my life. I'm going to be giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. Recently, I went to go see the latest adaptation of a Stephen King novel, and that is The Dark Tower, starring Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. The story follows a young boy named Jake who keeps having visions and nightmares of a tower and a gunslinger and a man in black who wishes to destroy this tower. Now, the history behind the tower is that it can only be brought down by a child's mind, and once the tower is brought down, that means that evil is released upon all of the universes. And when weird things start happening to Jake in real life, he discovers that the Dark Tower and this different world is an actual place, and he must help the gunslinger Roland, who is played by Idris Elba, to hunt down the man in black who is trying to destroy the world. Now, I'd heard a lot of negative things when it came to the Dark Tower, and I was still kind of excited to go see it. I kept my expectations low, and because I did that, I actually ended up enjoying the film more than I thought I would. I am a sucker for dark fantasy, and especially Idris Elba, and just new universes. I love exploring new universes and new lore and everything in between. I really enjoyed the relationship between Jake and Roland the Gunslinger. I thought it blossomed into something really beautiful, and the development there was really, really good. I thought the child actor who played Jake was really impressive as well. He basically stole the whole show, even though he's in a film with Academy Award winner Matthew McConaughey. I thought the magical side of it was really impressive. I thought the action was pretty impressive. I really, really like some of the fantasy in this film. What I didn't like was Matthew McConaughey's character, the Man in Black. Every damn time he came on screen, you could see that he was the villain. Yep, he looks scary, he does scary things, he threatens a lot of people, and he kills a lot of people. But the thing is, I don't like villains who have no motive. Here, Matthew McConaughey isn't convincing enough to just convince me that he wants to do things because he's evil. I need to know why he wants to destroy all other Earths. I want to know why he kidnaps children and uses their brain for bad. I'm sure the book explains his character in more depth, but the film does a really bad job in convincing me that this guy really wants to destroy the world. And because of that, I was kind of taken out of the story and didn't feel like the film could go either way when it came to the final battle. I still really enjoyed the world building, I enjoyed the relationship between Jake and Roland, and I enjoyed the fantasy in this movie. So I'm going to be giving The Dark Tower a 3 out of 5 stars. It could have been so much better if they would have just improved the villain. And the last one I want to talk about is a film that I only saw last night, and it's just taken my breath away and I'll be thinking about it for the longest time, and that is Patti Cake. And this follows a young girl living in New Jersey who dreams of being a rap star, and she just wants to get out of her life, but she's struggling to do so. Our main character is Patricia Dubonsky, aka Patti Cake, aka Killer P, which is her rapper name. And she's played brilliantly, may I add, in this film by Danielle MacDonald, who is a native Australian but pulls off the Jersey accent with basically no trouble at all. She is such a presence on screen. I absolutely loved her. What made me love this film is that it reminded me a lot of last year's American Honey, which I loved. It showcased a lot of personal details about this character. A lot of close-up shots were used, a lot of surrounding shots were used, especially when it came to her home and showing what sort of lifestyle she was living. And I really love when directors show me what is inside this character's mind. I was rooting for Patricia from the very first line she said. I could relate to her character in more ways than I thought I could. Because her character is so real and she faces real problems and real issues, and never once did I not believe that she was suffering from these issues that she was having. The whole cast in general just brings so much life and electricity to the screen. I love the diversity in the range of characters. We have her two bandmates, one called Bastard, who is very deep and dark and mysterious, and the other is called Jerry, who is just like a firecracker and is just excited all the time. There's just so much realness in these characters that I absolutely just fell in love with every single one of them. I love how this film is comedic as well as dramatic and just has raw emotions in it. It just made me feel so many things at one time. And because the film is essentially a musical, the music and the lyrics in this film for the songs that Killer P and PB&J, which is the name of their band, which is absolutely hilarious, sing and rap are just incredibly written. The original lyrics are actually written by the director of the film. All of the songs are original, which I just think is crazy amazing. There are certain songs in this film that I can see myself listening to over and over again, especially for inspiration, because the finale song, Tough Love, is just so well written and so well performed. I absolutely loved it. Every year an indie gem comes along and steals my heart, and this year that was Patti Cake. I am so inspired by the film and inspired by the screenwriting and the realism and the music that I will watch this in future when I'm having a creative blackout, basically, because Patti Cake makes me want to believe in something. The film has great performances, it's raw, it's real, it's funny, it has great music. I really recommend you go see Patti Cake if you get the chance. It's such a great film and just an indie that deserves way more recognition and way more people to go see it. I'm going to be giving Patti Cake a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love this one, and it may even end up in my top 10 of the year. So that is the end of this More Movie Reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of the films that I discussed down below in the comments. And if you like this video and want to see more of them, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. All my social media links, including my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Letterboxd, will be down below in the description, but I am Rihanna Toria on everything. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you very soon. Bye!